Very good.
And we're live.
We're live.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is Dragon DJ Reviews. We appreciate you checking us out. I'm your host, Dragon DJ, also known as Derek. And I'm joined by my friend Remy.
What up?
Um, so, if you're rejoining us, as you know, we've been going through the Godannar series. It's an anime from 2003. Very good kaiju versus mech anime series. Obviously, since it's anime, you got plenty of fan service in here, which can be very entertaining or very weird, depending on the timing of it popping up.
Why not both?
So yeah, we've been working our way through. We're getting close to the end. This week we're going to be talking about episodes 16 through 20. Next week will be the last week of this series, where we'll be talking about episodes 21 through 26. So things are definitely starting to heat up for our pilots. They're having all sorts of fun drama as usual, and we've also got a nice little mystery that's starting to pop up and adding to the trouble that the mimetic beasts are providing. So we'll definitely be talking about that as we go along. So before we get started talking about the episodes themselves, again, if this is your first time here, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you're returning and you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button. Feel free to leave comments down below about your thoughts about what we're talking about. And if you haven't seen the series, definitely look it up. Check it out. It's fun.
Yeah, go.
That being said, any general thoughts about these 5 episodes? I know you said you're a little fuzzy right now, so if you don't have a general impression, I totally get it. We can dive right in, but figured I'd give you a chance to.
Well, it's funny when you were like just doing the intro, my like memory was starting to kick back into high gear. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, that happened. And I just remember, I'm like, oh no, the tragedy. Now I remember what happened. No. Yeah, tragic. That's all I remember happening in the last like 5th episode we watched. I was like, oh, well, this is sad. I'm not very happy.
Yeah. It's the last couple episodes really start hitting more emotionally. So, and which is going to add to the whole chaos that is Godannar.
Yeah. So it's not just
6 episodes.
So it's not just jokes and fan service and action the entire time. Which
Yeah.
would be fine. I would be fine with, but you gotta have some gravitas in there also.
Yeah. It's nice when a series like this that is a lot of jokes and innuendos and things like that also knows how to be serious. And, and in my opinion, does a really good job of blending the two sides. Like, I mean, they, it kind of goes quick a lot of times, but it's not jarring, in the sense of like, why is this happening? But it's jarring in the right way. Like,
I can kind of see. Yeah, I can see that. Like, I think they might be like a tiny. I don't know. The drama still works for me. Is that I just think that they probably put it in like a little too late, in my opinion. So like, I'm just like so like worn out with just like the sheer massive like fan service and just like action and just comedic undertones to the series that when they start doing heavier like topics, I'm like, okay, I can kind of get behind it. It just feels a little off to me sometimes because I'm like, wow, we're like really going heavy in this. Yeah. It'd be nice if we put a little bit more of those moments earlier in the season or earlier in season 1, but whatever, it still works.
Well, there are a few things that they dropped in season 1, but they didn't really explore at that point, and now they're coming back to it.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I still think you're right though, because I think even back on it, like I was still invested in it, and I was still like heartbroken with what happens to the characters when the show does get more serious. So I'm like, well, that's like almost every anime, really. Almost every anime that I watch starts off like sort of comedic, and then it gets serious, and I'm still like with it the entire time. So like I can still like I'm still interested in this storyline, and I still want to see like what happens to it, because now it's like they're bringing in more of a threat or like an upcoming like predicament, which I'm like, oh, okay, that makes this more engaging, and that makes it more like what's gonna happen now. Like, what's the future? Like, what does the future hold for this?
Yeah. All right. So we'll get started talking about episode 16. Dive into these episodes and go from there. Get the pictures up. So, episode 16 opens up with a little quick reprisal or recap of where episode 15 ended. The very first thing that it shows is, and I think I put his name down somewhere, but basically Anna and her friend meet up in a park. Her friend's an old friend that gave her the cat that she has, and he happens to look like the cat, which is still weird to me.
They don't explain why he does. They just go, this is a character design. Like, what?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Why does every other character look like an anime character, and then why does he look like that?
Yeah. So he, like I said, they're recapping the end of episode 15, so it's right when he proposes to her. And then it cuts to the final battle of episode 15, which this is a screenshot of. Godannar did a spinning kick to the giant mimetic beast's head, because the head came off of the body and was flying away, so they jumped up and kicked it and destroyed it. Good times.
Yes.
So then we get the opening credits, and it goes into showing a new the Go Oakser being tested out by Shizuru. They cut the test short. She comes out, and she's talking with the lead mechanic as well as the doctor. Come on, work. There we go. Takes a stumble down the stairs because she's still recovering from being brought back to life.
Yeah, and not to mention that she was also trying to pilot the like newer model of the Oakser or something like that as well.
So I don't know if you remember it, but the Go Oakser, which is the one that she's piloting, it's actually the prototype for the Neo Oakser.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so it was built before, and Mira had tried to pilot it before, but she couldn't.
Yeah.
So that's where the Neo Oakser came into play, because they needed to change the power configuration for it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, no, I forgot the name of it. I was just trying to like say like she was also trying to pilot that thing too. But it's also it's like a combination of the two, really, coming back to life and also like pushing herself to immediately go back into a robot and just start piloting it.
And a really intense
one. Mira couldn't even pilot it.
Yeah. And I mean, she's an accomplished Shizuru's an accomplished pilot too, but the Go Oakser, as it's called, by what we find out with their conversations and what we see later on and everything, it's got so much power behind it because it has its own like specialized twin drive system compared to what the Neo Oakser uses.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it definitely adds to a little bit of the humor and drama. Let's see. So, like I said before, this was picking up right where episode 15 left off. So it cuts to showing Go and Mira flying back to base. Go's radioing in and saying like, "Hey, we're on last approach and all that." And he starts trying to talk to Mira, and cuts to her, and she's passed out while the jet boy is flying him in.
Yeah.
Um, so we do find out a little bit later on that this is actually the second time that she's passed out since she started piloting again, and um, so yeah, that's pretty scary to have somebody potentially pass out in the middle of a fight.
Can you imagine they did that in like Pacific Rim? Like one of them passed out
Oh,
during the
gee.
fight. Like what the?
Well, I mean, they kind of did when the girl started freaking out from the dream.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you're right. But that was different though. It was like the people inside the facility were in trouble, not the pilots themselves.
Yeah,
No, it was the pilots themselves, and they started like and like Mako or Raleigh like literally like fainted while they were fighting. Like I don't know, Leatherback or Itachi. That would be both hilarious, but also like, what the? Get out! What are you doing?
oh man, that would have been.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah,
Like no, get up, get up. What are you doing?
it reminds me of the first episode when Anna is piloting the first time and she passes out, and they're like, "Yeah, shocker,"
Yeah, they're like, get up.
and they
No,
jolt her, and she just pops up, and she's like, "All right, let's go."
yeah, I love that. They even brought that up in like one of these episodes too. They're like, should we shock her? They're like, no, let her rest.
So after we get going, Mira returning and everything, cuts over to Lou and Ken fighting some mimetic beasts. Lou, for the most part, is doing pretty well, holding her own in her
Yeah,
little mech.
even Ken kind of like makes a comment, going like, you know what, you're growing, you're doing better than I expected you to be doing. So, yeah,
Yep.
that's all we get.
Yeah. So she's pretty excited about it. She does almost get caught off guard, but Ken rushes in, does some slicing and dicing and everything.
Yeah, destroys it,
Yeah.
lickety split, just decapitates it like he usually does.
Um, so yeah. So then it goes back to the base, and that's when we find out that this was the second time Mira had passed out. Um, and then we get a scene. I didn't get a screenshot of it, but we get a scene of Pops and Shizuru talking, and he teases her about him getting in trouble for letting her test the mech. And she does her line, "Who the hell you think I am?"
Yeah, that.
So, uh, and I mean it's nothing like real big or fancy or anything, but it's a nice, just nice to see the character interaction.
Yeah, a nice little character moment.
Yeah. So then, after that, uh, we cut over to Anna and her cat friend talking, and she's kind of spacing out while the conversation's going on.
Yeah, she's watching the fight that's happening on the TV.
Yeah, and then we find out Shinobu is spying on her because he's freaking out about everything,
Yeah,
and so he's paying more attention to the conversation than Hannah is, uh, which leads to more hilarity because right after this it goes back to Danner base, and Mara wakes up and goes trying to reassure her, and his brother walks in and he's like, "You bastard, it's all your fault. You're evil, you dirty old man." And they're both like, "What?"
yeah, they're both confused. Like, when? It's like, is he okay? Like, I don't know. Little brothers, am I right? Freaking. Yeah, but he like goes out and like yells out like, no! Like he's like yelling and everything. I'm like, dude, calm down. You
Yeah.
know you really like Sana. Like I don't know what the freak is wrong with you. Calm down. You know that nothing's gonna really happen between him and Amira. So just chill.
So and I think right after this he runs outside and he's just screaming at the ocean.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was referring to when he yells Anna.
So then after this, we cut to Anna, and first, at first it's like a replay of um, the battle before her cat gave birth to its kittens, and she's
Yeah.
running all over and complaining about not knowing where to go and stuff. And then, and then this is what pops out of the water next to her. And
You never be a true pilot, Anna.
yeah,
You're nothing.
so so then you realize, okay, it's a dream. She's having a nightmare.
No,
And
this is
then
all real. This all happened in the anime, guys. This is all what happened in the anime. A giant mirror showed up with kitchen utensils, half
and then,
naked. Just
and then right
showed.
after this, right after the kaiju mirror pops up, Anna gets grabbed on her shoulder, spun around, and it's the cat guy trying to give her a big smooch,
Yeah.
which finally causes her to wake up. Um, so, and the cat guy's name is Hidebo. Hidebo, Hidebo, I think. At least that's how it sounded. So, yeah. We find out that he invited her to go to an amusement park with him. So she gets there. Of course, she bends over after running up to where they're supposed to meet. And he starts fantasizing about her and her mom.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Hey, listen, man. I can't blame the guy. His mom is freaking. Whew.
Yeah.
Both her and Caesar are like.
Yep.
Anyway.
So they go on a ride, and it's a Splash Mountain type of ride. And she's wearing
of course, Anna gets all wet and everything like that, and this guy is still fawning over her. I'm like, dude, it can't be more obvious, man. Calm down. I know you're a growing boy, probably in that age, but calm yourself, sir.
Yeah. So there was a better shot than this of the after effects of the splash, but
yeah,
I didn't feel right about
it. But again,
it.
yeah, don't no.
So like our little videos are covering up the little bit that this one shows, but yeah, like
yes,
immediately afterwards he's just staring at her tits the whole time.
Yeah, it's just like, bro, calm down. Look up at the sky or something.
Yeah, and she's like, "What?"
He's like, nothing. He's like, oh, look at that! Look at the bird over there.
So then we cut to back to the base, and they've got the warnings going off, saying that a couple beasts are actually heading towards the amusement park. Of course. So they fly in, and finally the sirens are going off, warning the people to take shelter and everything. They fly in, knock one of the beasts out, and then freeze the other one, merge, and just as they finish the merge, they get caught from behind by the one that they just knocked out of the way.
Yeah. It was a sneak attack. It was a plot.
Yeah. So it cuts back and forth between the fight and the amusement park with Anna, and she's sitting here watching Godannar fight, and Hidebo has no clue why. He's like, "Come on, we need to get to the shelter and everything."
He's like, "Let's go!" Like literally, they're fighting. Let's run.
And unfortunately, as the battle rages on, like they do manage to take out one of the kaiju, and but shortly after this, Mira passes out again.
Yep.
And so it leaves Go with no choice but to kind of go on the defensive, um, to protect the city and amusement park from the beast's blast. While he's trying to get Mira to wake back up. So the doctor or Anna's mom and the commander, start talking about getting the Go Oaks are prepared to launch. And they're like, okay, let's get Shizuru. And she's nowhere to be found. And turns out she's driving with Shinobu to find Anna. So while that's going on, we get these white mimetic beasts again that popped up earlier when in the previous episode where Shizuru died, actually.
Yeah. Then we find out these ones, like, basically cannibals.
Well,
they feed on, like, what is it, like dead carcasses of other...
Well, that's the assumption, but then they fuse. So it's not... So, but yeah, at first they're like, oh yeah, these are the ones that cannibalize them, and then they fuse together.
Yes.
And so this is the...
They do a freaking Dragon Ball Z fusion dance and combine with each other.
Yeah. And so much bigger, much nastier looking, easily knocks Godannar back and actually causes them to split apart. So
yeah.
Neo-Oxer pops out, Godannar, or Danner goes back to blue mode.
Yeah. Which is really surprising. Like, we've never really seen Godannar, like, get knocked out of, like, being unfused before. So that was, like, something new that we haven't seen. So I was kind of caught off guard by that. I was like, oh damn. Yeah. We're in the pickle, aren't we? So this is not very good.
And so again, Go is determined to defend the city as best as he can, even though he's at a weakened state compared to what the monster is. But Anna finally shows up in the Go Oakser. And so they immediately start arguing with each other.
Yeah. I'm just like, guys, not the time.
Yeah. And they're arguing, and then finally they kind of like their argument syncs up with each other and they're both saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And Anna's mom's like, just shut up and merge already, you two. And they're like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, they're just like, all right, fine. Moving on from that. Finish the conversation later.
So, and one thing that I forgot to mention, when Shizuru catches up with Anna to bring her back to the base, Anna tackles her because she's so happy to see her alive again.
Oh, that's right.
So, and yeah, so that,
cute, yeah, very cute moment though. It was cute to see Anna, like, so excited to see Shizuru back.
And so when they go to merge, they keep talking about the power levels that the Go Oakser has, and they tell Anna, like, keep it at like level 5 or lower. Don't let it go above level 5. And as soon as they start to merge, it jumps up to like level 6 or 7. So she starts spinning like a cyclone. But they eventually get control and merge together. And I know it's kind of hard to see, but the flames turn to blue now instead of red.
Yeah.
So, which shows, like the new power level kind of thing.
Yeah, of course. It's a Dragon Ball kind of rules. When the hair color changes, that means you're more powerful now.
Yeah. So, of course, they quickly mop up the mimetic beasts and then return back to base.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much...
Yeah, I think this is when Anna passes out again, and they're like, should we shock her? But then Go was like, no, let her sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have been that jerk in the thing going like, oh, okay. Oh, no, what happened? Who pressed the button?
So that was pretty much all of episode 16. Any final thoughts on that episode?
No, it was a good episode. It's cool to see Go and Anna kind of like reconcile almost at the end of this, like come back together and like power up the Godannar to even like a higher level, which was really cool. Like, I like the change of the red to blue, because blue is one of my favorite colors, so that's like really awesome to see that happen. And like, it's just it was a very good episode. We got more like info dump on like what exactly the relationship between Anna and that cat looking guy are.
Yeah.
So that was also nice to see.
Yeah, we do get to see that he basically coerced her into making a promise when she was like 4 or 5 years old or something like that.
Yeah, it's one of those anime cliches where it's like, oh, we'll get married when we're adults, and we made that promise to us when we were like 5 years old.
Yeah.
Like, guys, move on.
and what was interesting too about the whole proposal thing is like he's doing it now because his boss that he's of the company he's been working at for the last 2 years is like, yeah, you need to get married.
Which is so weird to me. I'm like, why would you care what your boss says you need to get married?
Yeah.
If I was working, my boss came up to me and said, "Hey, we need to get married."
But
I probably quit immediately. I'd probably be like, "Okay, that's weird. I don't know why you're so."
But that's kind of the difference in culture between America and Japan.
That is true. Yeah.
But
yeah, no, overall good episode. I enjoyed it.
So this next episode 17, while it wasn't like horrendous, it was, to me, it was kind of one of the most boring ones out of the whole series.
Really?
I'm
trying to remember what happens in episode 17.
Episode 17 focuses entirely on the mechanics.
Oh, that's right. I didn't mind that episode, actually. I kind of enjoyed this one. I'm like one of those people where I actually enjoy it when we take a step back from the main cast and sort of focus on the side characters and shows. I'm like, I want to see what they're about. Like, I want to see what their life is like.
Like I said,
I enjoy the episode.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's like.
No. I give it.
It's not horrendous. It's just like we got so much else going on
here. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So it basically opens up with a couple of female mechanics gossiping about Anna and Go, talking about the whole dynamic with Mira and everything like that. Mm. And then somehow it gets on to the topic about Pops, which is the chief mechanic. And then kind of the girl that's kind of the focus of the episode, Tonko, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
She talks about her dad trying to hook her up and wanting her to quit. And she seems, kind of interested, but kind of not. But all that was taking place in a locker room, so I didn't take any screenshots of that because.
Yeah, no, don't.
Too much.
There was like too much like changing and nudity and stuff like that. So it's just like, oh my God, no, we can't.
Yeah. So then finally gets out of the locker room and cuts to this scene, and I keep missing the guy's name. I think I wrote it down later on or something, but Yada Kasawa, I think is what the guy's name is.
Okay.
So he's just kind of standing there looking at Danner.
He's the one with the dark blue hair, right? Or the kind of like turquoise looking hair.
Yeah, and he's like real skinny and always nervous and everything.
To me, I felt like he was probably my favorite part of the episode.
Yeah, he's got the biggest journey out of everybody in this one.
Yeah, because
I will say
the character for me. Anyway.
I think I did get a screenshot of it later on. So anyways, Pops confronts him like, hey, you're not in the right zone. I hope all your work's done, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as Pops walks away, the girl that this guy has a crush on walks up to get him to sign off on paperwork and everything. And he's just tripping over his words. And
yeah.
So then it cuts to a couple of the girl mechanics kind of sitting down chit chatting. Turns out that they're like on the landing bay, uh, like by at the feet of Godannar,
Yeah, I think
and
so.
yeah, and so they're having a conversation, and then they get the clearance for Danner to launch. So everybody's like, "All right, to your positions," and they start moving. And somebody's like, "Hey, why are these oil cans or lubricant cans just sitting here in the path?" And so the two girls have to, for some reason, they have to carry the cans themselves, and they obviously don't move very fast because they're carrying it by hand instead of using
Yeah,
like a
I have
cart.
to like go immediately because like Banner is like literally being launched out at the same time.
So Pops is like, "Hey, you better get cleared because it's gonna get windy for you."
Yeah.
And so of course they comedically get blown back, and
Yeah. Of
the
course, all the oil gets dumped on them. Oh no, what a coincidence. And it's
and
just like so like awkward.
yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god, really?
So and of course it shows them showering and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, so um, so what's interesting is we don't get to see the battle itself, but we do get to see the mechanics watching the battle, and Pop's kind of quizzing them and training them on what's going on in the fight. Um, so we do get a scene where Shizuru and Anna's mom. I keep forgetting what the doctor's actual name is, but they're talking about Mara and everything that's been going on with that situation. Um, Godannar returns and has a bunch of gunk over it, and they're told that they have to get it all cleared off by the end of the day.
And Pops is like, nah, we can do that. It's fine.
Yep.
Chop
He's
chop,
like,
get to it.
"Yeah, get to it. I'm going to lunch."
Yeah, exactly. He's like, hurry up.
So he goes off to lunch with Go, um, and then and while they're having lunch, they talk about Mira and Anna, and then Pops gets called back out, so he goes out there. We do get a scene of uh, Anna training to be able to pilot Go Oakser. Um, for some reason, I wrote Mira down.
Oh, well.
That's why I was a little hesitant. Um, and her mom comes in to talk to her about it. Um, yeah, nothing too exciting or revealing at that point.
Yeah.
Uh, so just kind of like a pep talk, mom and daughter.
Mm.
Uh, then it cuts back out to the mechanics working, and Pops is like, "What the hell's all these refrigerators and everything doing out here?"
They're like, that's what we found in the gunk.
Yeah. So,
What the, I'm like, what? How many refrigerators does this thing like grab? Did it just burst through a bunch of buildings and like the refrigerators were just in it?
so they say that the mimetic beast stepped on a ramen restaurant, and so everything that you see here is from that restaurant.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember them saying that.
Yeah, which later on uh,
Yeah,
they
it's a good
find a
twist.
sign from the restaurant.
Yeah.
Um, so they finally get around to, oh yeah. So we get a brief talk between Pops and the mom, uh, talking about his son, because she's trying to get a status update on progress, and he's like, "Yeah, we're on schedule." Um, and find out that he's got like a teenage son, and one of the things that was talked about in this episode was he's been sleeping on the base for several days. Um, so concerns about like, hey, like, are you taking care of your son and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Did I? Let me see. Hold on. Yeah. Okay.
Again,
So
folks, we're kind of grasping at straws with this episode. I
yeah.
enjoyed it. There's not a lot of goes on. It's just kind of shenanigans. Shenanigans
So
here, shenanigans there. That's all we're gonna have in this episode.
yeah. So then it cuts to evening. They're finally down to the last piece of gunk, and so they have a couple of trucks hooked up to it, and they're trying to pull it off by just driving. And as they're pulling, it pops off and turns out to be another smaller mimetic beast.
Yeah.
And
Then it goes after Pops, and you're thinking like, oh no, he's gonna die, but Danner freaking smushes it, and then it's revealed that Go is actually inside, like potting in it. And he like mentions like, oh, that was a close one, huh?
and Pops is like, "What the hell, man? I told you to tell me when you're gonna be in there." And he's like, "Well, I told the other guy." And the other guy's like, "Oh crap, I forgot to tell Pops."
That did make me laugh. I was like, okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
He's like, oh crap, I forgot to tell Pops that he was gonna be in there. But I'm like, you know what though? It worked out. It worked out for the best.
Yeah. So then we get, kind of a nice moment. So they're done with all the cleaning and everything, and Pops is in the cafeteria cooking for the whole team. And Yada Kasawa, the blue-haired guy that we were talking about earlier, he had gone outside to try and confess his love to the girl.
Yeah.
And we don't get to see it, like we get to see the start of it, but then he comes in, he's all depressed and eating and everything. And then
can't relate to that at all.
yeah, and so when they forgot to mention when they smashed this this kaiju, this beast in the blood and guts was the sign from the restaurant, which is the restaurant that Tanko was supposed to meet up with the guy that her dad was trying to hook her up with.
Yeah, so basically the meetup is canceled. She's like, yay!
Yeah.
So it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, so the episode ends with her on the phone with her dad saying, like, hey, I'm going to stay on being as a mechanic, so thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, and her dad is surprisingly kind of understandable with her. I'm like, huh, I wasn't expecting that from him, but okay.
Yeah. At least we assume so.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was pretty much episode 17.
Yeah. Enjoyable. But yeah, I can see like your kind of gripes with it.
Yeah.
It's just like nothing really happens in it though.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we did forget to mention that one moment though where the blue-haired dude gets like cornered by like Shizuru on his mom.
Yeah, I thought I had that screenshot. Dang it, I forgot.
Yeah, that scene was pretty funny.
Yeah, so
like, this man's like the luckiest dude in the show right now. He's like surrounded by the two hottest women, and you're freaking out. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, so he's like standing on one side of a wall, looking over at the girl he has a crush on, because this is before he confesses his love.
Yeah, he's like watching her fill out some paperwork or something.
And somebody almost runs into him driving, a cart of stuff, yells at him, and so he turns around and walks face first into the breasts of the
that's right.
mom, and he freaks out, and she's like, "Oh, that's offensive. I'm that scary." And he's like, "No." And then he turns around.
He's like freaking out about it.
And he turns around, and Shizuru is standing behind him, and he screams again.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, what am I, scary or something?" Like they're literally like cornering him. I'm like, my dude, this poor man.
So
help him, but also don't help him. Let me guess, a kitten.
Yep. Oy.
Sounds about right. Oh, they're huge. Oh, the kittens.
All right.
Oh, she's so cute.
Yeah.
Aw.
Come here. Hold on.
Kitties. Kitties. Oh, look at her.
Yeah. She's
Did
only.
you give her a name?
Guinevere.
Guinevere?
Guinevere, after Drizzt Do'Urden's Astral Cat from Forgotten Realms.
Don't know.
It's a fantasy adventure book series.
Oh, okay. Guinevere. Guinevere?
Ari Salvatore.
Guinevere, is that how you say it?
Yeah, as far as I know, I've never heard it, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting name. I like it.
yeah.
It's
Well,
unique.
his Astro Cat is a Black Panther
Mm.
in the series, and so it lives in like the Astro realm, so it's like a magical cat.
Oh, okay. Is
So
the is your kitten a she or a he?
she
Oh, okay, just she.
can't eat my cable. Turn you around this way. So
How many cats do you have now?
my sister has two. I have one.
Oh, okay.
So this one's all mine. Mwah.
All right. Wait, wait, do you and your sister live in the same like house together?
Yeah, I live in the basement. She lives on the main floor.
Oh, okay.
So yep, we got a door that divides the floors. So
No, okay then. Good.
got to slowly introduce the cats to each other. So
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you definitely gotta do that. You like, yeah, that's the thing with cats. You kind of like to introduce them to a new one, they'll like freak out
uh,
and
this one, a couple times. So we've tried putting her in a carrier, and then brought the other cats to her.
mm-hmm.
And each time we've done that, she's like hissed at them.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah, see, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yep, you gotta give it time. You gotta let it.
Yeah. So, um, so yeah, going back to the nervous guy. So he's trapped between Anna's mom and Shizuru, and then the girl he has a crush on sees him and waves at him, and he immediately gets all lovey dovey with him, and completely ignores the other two. so, so yeah, episode 17. That was all. On to episode 18. Opens up with Katarina and her team having a party in her like castle.
Yes, the third best character in the show for no family.
um, so apparently she sends invites to all the other pilots,
But they
and
never come.
yeah, the American
They're
ones
like,
are the only
hell,
ones that are
like,
not.
hell no, I'm not going to that.
Yeah, so we get like they show these two teams talking and everything, and then it shows Go talking with his brother, and his brother's like, "Hey, you got an invite for Katarina?" And he's like, "I'm not going all the way to Russia for cocktails."
Yeah, which I'm like, you know what? Understandable. I would not be like that either. I'd be like, I don't give a crap about no stupid cocktail party. I'm not going to another
Yeah.
entire country. Like, forget that. Or state.
So, da, 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 da. So let's see here. Yeah. So then it cuts to heavy innuendo scene of Shizuru training Anna.
Oh God! Oh yeah! Right. Oh, I remember that. Oh no!
Yeah. So this was about the
So
safest.
weird.
This was about the safest that I could get with it.
It's still bad.
I know.
Oh my God! Yeah, but you know, like, I don't even want to repeat the dialogue. The dialogue is just so like sexual. You're just like, what the hell is going on? We know it's a joke, but at the same time, it's just like, why? And they're just like both like moaning and everything. I'm like, oh my God, what the
Yeah.
what is happening? Did we cross the realm into hentai at this point? Because I don't know what to do. But of course, we find out that's not what's happening. It's just them like doing like a simulation of like her controlling one of the Danners. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. She's training to pilot the new Go Oakser. So like it's more intense and
Yeah.
involved. And of course, she fails the simulation. And
Oh no, what a shock.
yeah. Um,
Thank God.
so
Freaking image. Thank you.
Uh,
Get it on the screen.
so they do show the Go Oakser docked as they're kind of talking about um, the training and everything.
Mhm.
And then it cuts back to Katarina's party. And turns out she gets a call saying that there's a group of mimetic beasts nearby. So her team takes off. The American team offers to help, and she's like, "No, you're guests, and you're on vacation. Just chill out and relax." So they go out, and this is her unmerged uh, mech.
Yeah, and her like assistant or like her co-pilot has like a ship kind of esque
Yeah.
looking deck on his own.
Um,
But of course, then they like, but then they like combine.
yeah, and I paid closer attention when they merge, and the arms on this mech is actually what turns into the merged one's boobs.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I think I remember that.
Yeah, for some reason I always thought it was like the boobs on this one just got bigger, but no, it's the
Yeah,
arms.
I thought it was a ship that like made them bigger, or something like that. Like a part of the ship that like transformed to like make them larger. But no, you're right. Just arms.
Yeah. Um, so she has. So in this mode, she has like lightsabers that she could use to attack with.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is her slicing one of the beast's heads off with the lightsaber. Because in the merged mode, she has like a laser ribbon.
Yeah, kind of like use like a whip basically, where she just wraps around them and she just kind of like squeezes it and it just explodes them.
Yeah. So.
Like exactly like that.
Yep. So she's wrapping that one up, kind of talking and everything, and then the big one just pierces straight through it and actually damages them. And so uh, her co-pilot, which I think his name is Kukaracha.
Yeah, I think so.
Because every time she mentions it, I'm thinking like La Kukaracha.
Yeah, exactly.
um, so, uh, so he gets injured, and oh yeah, so yeah, I just thought of the before the party of her getting ready for it. I was like, yeah, I couldn't take a screenshot of that.
Yeah, no.
Because I don't think she had any underwear on.
No, she did not. I think I don't remember that part exactly.
If she did, it wasn't showing. So during the so during the fight, it does cut back to Shadow and Luna talking at the party, and Shadow ends up having a convulsion.
Yeah, like her hand kind of like
twitches.
Twitches a bit.
Yeah,
and you're kind of like, the hell was that? Like you're kind of caught off guard by that. You're like, okay, that was weird.
Yeah. So we get let's see here. So we get a bit of a conversation after Kukaracha is recovered, and Katarina's actually gets pissed off at him because he won't really go against her. He really doesn't say much to her.
Yeah, he just kind of has like a one kind of track mind where he just does everything. Like literally, like his little catchphrase when they transform is like, "I'll follow you anywhere," and that's literally all he does, really.
Yeah. So in his mind, that's like his way of showing his affection for her.
Yeah, but like he like doesn't really have anything else besides that. Like he just follows her to like a T, and like he follows her like every command. And but like later on in the same episode, she says like, "I want you like to hit me or to strike me." He's like, "I'm not going to do that." She's like, "Basically, so you're basically like not following my orders."
Yeah.
So it's kind of like interesting because I didn't really like. It was very like interesting that like argument between them because she's like, "I want you to kind of have like your own sort of like what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like mindset or like your own like."
Motivation.
I want you to be you. I want you to have your own personality besides just following me all the time.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I can't do that because I don't really have any like other. Even like if I wasn't following you, I would not have like any other purpose. Like I
Yeah.
would just like aimless. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. So it's kind of like an interesting dynamic between the two of them. It's just like, huh, okay.
So after this little spat, she tells him to drive her back home. It cuts back to uh, Danner base and Mira or Anna returning from training to find Mira cooking, and so Anna kind of freaks out a little bit about it and's like, "Hey, like, you don't want to take the chance of passing out while you're cooking, so I'll take over." And Mira's like, "Yep, you're right." um, and then Go gets mad at Shizuru for pushing herself too much, training Anna, because like I think Go's brother mentioned something about seeing Shizuru dead, like dead again, and he's like, "No, not in that way, like just dead tired."
Oh yeah,
And it does cut to Shizuru like hanging off of the bathtub. Um, Another shot I couldn't take a screenshot of.
yeah, probably a good thing too.
um, so then we cut back to Katerina and her partner, and she's out here relaxing next to an indoor pool, just still pissed off at Kukaracha that he won't go against her or do anything to hurt her. So this is where she pops up and it's like, "I want you to punch me." He's like,
Yeah, he's like, I'm not doing that.
"Yeah." Um, so then they get uh, warning that there's mimetic beasts nearby. So she basically tells him, "Yeah, you can go fight them on your own. I'm not. I'm not going with you."
Yeah, and he's like, all right, I'll do that. And he just walks off and just goes on his own mech to fight them off.
Yeah. We do get a quick cut back to Anna training, um, and still like struggling and everything. Um, so then it cuts back to Kukaracha just flying around on his own, screaming and shooting the mimetic beasts and stuff. Um, and Katarina's watching on the side of a road, and then he gets hit. So all of a sudden, her mech's right there, and she jumps in to protect him.
Yeah, her mech literally comes out of nowhere. I'm like, what the hell did the mech come from?
Yeah. Um, so obviously they merge. They make short work of pretty much all the or vast majority of the beasts. This was, I think, the main one.
Yeah, I think it was the main leader, like the main
Yeah.
honcho, like this little group of mimetic beasts that kept attacking them.
So she wraps
Or
it up and cut it, just shreds it to pieces.
yeah,
Um, there was still another beast or two, and the Americans show up, Luna and Shadow, and hit it with their arrows, and then do their special arrow blast attack on it.
yep, and then that just like obliterates it also.
Or actually, this was the start of the next episode. My bad.
Oh, well,
Uh, I thought it was the end of the last one, but
okay. No, I think yeah, but the end of the last one was like them was
yeah, that's right.
yeah,
So, uh, so they finished off those beasts, and then at the start of episode 19, there's a new group that they're fighting with, and that's why the Americans are involved because they both teams were tasked with taking out the beasts.
yeah,
uh, so, um, so at the start of episode 19, uh, or before we start getting too much into it, any overall thoughts on episode 18?
no, it was good. I again like these next three episodes. I feel like are probably like some of the stronger episodes in the series, just because I like the fact that they move away from Anna and Go and like focus on the other pilots that also pilot the Danners, because I felt that was interesting. Because like season 1, we just got introduced to them. I'm like, they seem pretty cool, and they seem like interesting characters that I would like to know more about. And these next episodes kind of did that. I was like, all right, this is neat. I like this. I like that they're focusing on different characters. Like I like that aspect of the series.
Yeah, we get to learn more about their personalities and dynamics.
Yeah, exactly, and like what makes them tick and their relationships with one another, between each other. So I really like that, and I like this. Despite the fact that this one and the next episode are going to be like both like more the tragic episodes, you're like, no,
yeah,
why? I like them now. Why?
Yeah.
Like as soon as like the next episode, like as soon as you started hearing the good news about these two characters, you're like, oh no, let me guess, this is not going to end well, is it? No, it didn't. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I hate you.
So yeah, this episode 19 opens up with Godannar launching with Go and Mira, and it cuts to Anna in her class seeing them launch and freaking out. And then it cuts to this battle that I've got a screenshot of, which we were talking about. So afterwards, after the battle and everything, it cuts back to Godannar base, and we get to see Anna. Dang it. We get to see Anna kind of talking to herself, still in her school uniform, complaining that they didn't call her, which her mom is like, yeah, well, we can't have everybody going out all the time, and and one of the other like yeah, and one of the other operators is like, well, we need somebody to be back at the base to watch the home. And so she's kind of frustrated, walking around talking to herself, bumps into Mira. They have a little bit of a conversation. Doesn't really go into too much depth. So then goes back to Katarina and Shadow's teams talking with each other, kind of strategizing about further battles that they've got with the kaijus that or the mimetic beasts that are in the area.
Yeah, and like I don't know if it's this part, but they do like come across like this team or whatever that like Luna kind of like gives like sort of like a PowerPoint, like a sort of like presentation or whatever.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So they have their conversation, and Cucaracha hands over a disc of data that they collected from fighting the beast to Luna, because apparently she's like a research analyst.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. Yeah, like no, she's like one of like what Shadow kind of like says is that Luna is like one of the more smarter like pilots out there.
Yeah,
because she like practically like studies these mimetic beasts like down to like their like genetic material and whatnot to just like kind of figure out how they tick and what their weaknesses are.
Yeah,
that their battle's more efficient and less like destructive.
And so it cuts to later on in the evening, and Luna's typing away at the computer, reading everything. Shadow comes up, and they're kind of flirting with each other. We get the sense that lesbianism is frowned upon. So
that is true, yeah, because they keep bringing it up that one of them wishes they were born as like a man or something like that, so that way they can make this happen and not be ostracized by everybody else. Which at first I'm down to them being a couple. At first, like I was kind of weirded out by it because I was like, wait, don't they call them like the sisters or something like that? I'm like, so are they actually related? So like during like half of these episodes, I was just like, please don't tell me you're related because this is gonna be weird.
Yeah, it turns out that Luna's last name is Sister.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, because that's what I thought.
I was getting worried at first. I'm like, oh no, Japan, please.
Well, I mean, you already got the English siblings that have like kind of a weird dynamic going on.
Yeah, I kind of have like an incest kind of thing going. I'm like, please no,
Yeah.
no, eat that. So I thought, oh my god, not again. But it turns out, okay, so now that makes more sense. Okay, that makes me relieved a bit that they're not even related. I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay, whew. Go
so
ahead. Fall in love.
um so then after this scene we do get a brief glimpse of Shadow like kind of grabbing her chest, indicating that she's got some kind of a health problem.
Yeah,
But they don't really explore it. And then the next day, uh, Luna's giving the PowerPoint presentation about the beasts and talking with. So these guys are like extra pilots that pilot some of the more standardized mechs.
yeah, they look more like military vehicles and then do like actual mech units.
Like if you're familiar with the Gundam series, it's like the gun tanks and the general production models versus the actual like Gundams that are specialized and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, so it gets revealed at this point that Shadow has offered this Russian team Luna.
Yeah, Michelle's
Uh,
just like, listen, like you're better than me. You don't really need me, so you'll be much better off with this team than you will with me. So
yeah.
farewell.
So Luna tells them like all the guys are obviously excited about it, and kind of hesitate in how they phrase it. Um, because she's a very attractive woman.
Yeah, and she's like probably the only woman on the team,
Yeah.
or she would
Uh,
be the only woman on the team.
um, so she tells him like, hey, let me think this over and stuff. So it cuts to Luna in a hot spring taking a bath, and Cucaracha comes up. And before he shows up, she's sitting here thinking to herself like that the transfer is due to her making a pass at Shadow.
Yeah, and that's
And
like that's when I like mentioned that she wished that she was born as a man or something like that, or one of them was born as a man, so that way they
and
can make the relationship work out. And that's
yeah,
what she's kind of going through.
and Cucaracha tells her it wouldn't matter. Like your feelings are the same regardless, and without like expressing them fully, it's gonna give you the same result.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's better to just like kind of like let them out and just keep them in because it's just going to be more torturous for you.
Yeah.
Like he gives her some advice.
So we do get a little flashback of when Luna and Shadow first met. Apparently, they were in like high school at the time, and both on the archery team or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was archery. I remember it being archery. Yeah, you know what? It is archery because it ties in with what their mech does, which is the arrows and stuff like that.
Yeah, and so they get kind of like a little flirting in that flashback as well.
Yeah.
So it does cut quickly to showing Shizuru training, but she gets called in to learn more about Max. So her and a few others go, and a couple others are pulled into a meeting, and I find out that like Max's brain had changed, putting him into an instinct mode,
Yeah.
which is why
And
he went on the rampage when he did.
yeah, and that's what like made him transform as well. Like
Yeah,
it's like the whatever effect was affecting him like kind of exasperates or grows more like stronger or whatever
yeah.
when like follows like sort of natural instinct or something like that.
And so they call it the Insania contagion.
Yeah.
So it's a virus that's going around. So we get a little bit of a hint of it at this point, and then it does cut to a couple of the girls gossiping while they're taking a shower. And again talking about the whole Anna and Mara dynamic. And of course, Mara walks in.
Yep.
So then we cut back to the Russian and American teams. They're executing Luna's plans. Luna's kind of spacing out. Shadow kind of lectures her about it. They decide that both teams decide that they got to start merging together. And unfortunately, because Luna's distracted, their mechs end up crashing into each other and causing Luna to fall down to the ground. Shadow recovers, transforms back into jet mode, and flies down to try and rescue her, calling for the missile barrage to stop that was being launched at all the beasts.
Yeah. And I think the other ones, yeah, they're there too, and they managed to stop some of the missiles with their ribbon.
Yeah. So yeah, Katarina's team manages to finish off the last of the missiles before they hit Luna and Shadow. Luna gets down, or Shadow, or no, as Shadow's approaching, the mimetic beast steps on Luna's ship, so that so that causes Shadow to go into a rage attack. They manage to kind of get it away for a little bit. Shadow lands, finds Luna banged up but alive, and not much damage to her Danner. So this was her rage attack. Oh, hold on. Somebody's attacking me.
Okay.
She kept digging her claws into my legs.
Why is she doing that? She's just like being very playful right now or something?
Well, she was trying to climb up. So
okay.
I've got sweatpants on, thankfully. So
that's good at least.
But it still doesn't block it.
No, it's still hurt. You're still having claws getting dug into your skin, so I can see that.
Yeah. So Shadow gets in there. Luna's not really moving much, but she's alive and talking.
Yeah.
Really? Cats.
I know.
So Katarina's team goes to confront the final beast that finally popped out of the ground. And as they start shooting at it, it grabs Shadow's mech and uses it as a shield.
Yeah. And then, like, I think it, like, starts to actually, like, yeah, there we go. It starts to actually take over the mech as well and start using it as a weapon against Katarina and Kukurash's mech. So they, like, have to literally defend themselves against arrows now.
Yeah.
Metal beast itself.
So yeah, it's using both ships. It keeps cutting back to Luna and Shadow talking, and unfortunately, Shadow starts having problems.
Yep, not very good. Doesn't look very good for either of them right now.
Yeah. So Shadow starts mutating. Beast keeps attacking Katarina and everything. And then let's see here. Yeah, so Katarina finally manages to slice its tentacles that was holding both of their mechs, causing them to fall back down.
Yeah.
And then having this cool victory pose.
Just literally slices that thing in half. Freaking fatality right there.
Yep. That's what I titled it too. Fatality. So yeah. So Shadow and Luna do survive. Um,
Well, they're both in like critical condition.
yeah, so like during all that, while all that was going on, Shadow kept trying to tell Luna to get out, and she's like, "Yeah, something's broken in me. I can't move."
It's
So,
like I can't do that. I'm like literally, I'm broken right now.
yeah,
You don't remember the part where the freaking thing stepped on the ship?
so yeah, basically between the fall and the beast stepping on her ship, uh, it's insinuated that probably her spine was broken.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
which
so
means that she's probably most likely paralyzed.
yeah, so at least she could still do the analytical stuff, but won't won't be able to
Yeah,
do the piloting.
she probably won't be able to pilot ever again. Both her and Shadow.
Yeah, yeah, Shadow's yeah pretty much out.
Yeah,
Um,
still alive, but yeah, but won't be able to like to do anything more really.
so before we dig into episode 20, any final thoughts on episode 19?
No, I really like this episode. I really like the drama. I think between Shadow and what's her name, Luna? Is that her
Yeah,
name? Yeah, I really like their dynamic because like I'm a sucker for that kind of like relationships where it's like the kind of like optimistic, like kind of like blonde haired, kind of like girl mixed with like the dark haired love interest. This time being a woman instead of like a guy, and I think like their relationship was actually like a good like sort of like reflection of like how sometimes um, lesbians can be like ridiculed in the real world, especially like way back then and even like today. Like women can't date a woman; that's not possible. That's heresy. So like I kind of like that they kind of like reflected that in this episode, like kind of bringing like a real world issue
yeah,
into this, like show, and I like that they reflected it but I don't like making it like too heavy handed, going like, you see this? You see this? You
yeah,
see this relationship? Like it was like kind of like very undertone and like it kind of just flowed with the rest of the episode. Like, yeah, they like each other. That's not really like the main focus. The main focus is that they're probably gonna be in trouble if they do end up in a relationship.
yeah,
And kind of like then the relationship's kind of put the test near the end of this episode where literally like Shadow is like transforming into what Max did, and she's just trying to like stop it, but she can't. So that kind of like adds another layer of like tragedy to like their about how they were as well.
yeah. Because it was in that moment that they both were finally able to confess their feelings towards each other.
Exactly, that is true.
So
Yeah, but no, I this episode. I really like
yeah,
Shadow and Luna as characters, and I like that we got Katarina and Kugaracha continuing to be badasses and pretty loyal friends, honestly. Like pretty loyal, like allies.
yeah,
They're like trying their best not to take on not to take down what is it the Shadow
but
and Luna. They're like we gotta try to help them as much
yeah,
as we can. Like we're not just gonna immediately try to kill them now that they've been taken over by the beast. We gotta try to save them and kill that thing.
yeah,
So I like that.
yeah,
But yeah, no, really enjoyed the episode.
yeah. Definitely a good one.
Yeah.
Um, so episode 20 opens up with a council of some sort looking at pictures of Shadow, like on a examining bed, and discussing her transformation and what it means. Um, and then we do find out that it's kind of like the overall council that I guess runs all the mech stuff.
Yeah, they're like the ones kind of like behind all the like the Danner facilities and whatnot. The
Yeah.
Danner program, as I like to put it.
So kind of a more serious tone opening.
Yeah.
Um, but then after the opening credits, we jump to these two crazy lovebirds,
My God.
and so everybody else that's in the cafeteria is like looking at them like, what are they talking about? And they're like, well, they're not even married, but they're talking about who the beneficiary is going to be of their like life policy.
Yeah, like they're talking about getting married.
Yeah. So kind of a humorous note. And then that nervous guy with the blue hair, he's sitting there, and another girl comes up, and he's surprised by her, and then she comments that she lost her contacts, so that's why she's wearing glasses, and apparently that's one of the key factors in what he finds attractive about a woman.
Is that if they wear glasses?
Yeah, because that's what the other girl was, or at least those like big glasses. So
Yeah.
So now he's got a new love interest.
Yeah, but you know what? Hey, whatever works for you, man. You find girls with big glasses attractive, go ahead.
So then we cut to Anna riding up the elevator, looking at her training stats and being all depressed because she keeps failing. Do you mind?
We're trying to record here.
All right. I'll let you down.
She's like, unhand me, peasant. I wish to run around.
Go. Not my feet. So Anna's talking to herself, kind of frustrated. Elevator stops. Mara gets on. They kind of have little small talk. Elevator stops again. Go gets on. So we had this nice awkward elevator ride.
Yeah, love it. Love the awkwardness.
You
live for these moments, people.
And let's see here. I'm just trying to. Yeah. Okay. So that's later on. So then after this, it cuts to Godannar battling some mimetic beasts. Good fight scene. And then they finish up, and it shows the male pilot, which I think his name is I think it's Bukaku. I thought it was Bukaku, but it's Mukaku. So
I think that sounds right. Mukaku.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like cuts like a bar, kind of drinking on his own and stuff.
Yeah.
Battle, but then this turns sour like almost immediately.
Because he overhears three guys talking about, like, first they're talking about Ken's mech and how they're trying to track him down, and they've got like a special classification for him to, capture him. And it does cut.
Yeah, and they start, I think, talking trash about him, and he's like, "Man, he's only a pilot because like only that girl can like keep him on a leash or something like that because he's actually a wild animal." He's like, "Oh yeah."
So, and right before he gets pissed off, after they got done talking about Ken, it does cut to Ken and Lou like walking through a shopping district.
Yeah.
And like carrying a bunch of groceries, and Lou's like, "Boy, this must have cost you a fortune." And then slowly realizes that Ken stole all the groceries.
Yeah. That's right. He's like, "Wow, must have been cost a lot, right?" And Ken's like quiet and she's like, "Right?" And Ken kind of just looks at her and she goes, "Oh." he stole them. Okay.
Yeah.
Which honestly, like, if I saw that guy steal from me, I'd be like, you know what? Go ahead, take it. I'm not gonna fight you.
Yeah.
Like the way Kent looks, I'd be like, oh hell no, I'm not gonna question that guy. I'm like, you know what, sir? You are probably on a mission worthy of my groceries. Take them. Take the whole store, why don't you?
So then it goes back to this scene. He throws a temper tantrum. It cuts to the girl, and her name I believe is Shiaku.
Shiaku?
Yeah. At
Okay.
least that's how it came across to me. I'm sure I'm way off.
Yeah.
So she finds out that Mukaku's having this rampage in the bar, and she's like, "Not again."
Yeah. She's like, oh my god, here we go.
So,
Like makes it there.
and what's interesting is like their mechanics and operators are kids.
Which makes it so like weird because it's like, how the hell are kids building or like helping construct these mechs? I don't understand.
Well, and the thing is in China, like they don't have any qualms about making kids work. So,
That is true.
um, so yeah, hold on. So he's tearing up the place. She just walks up to him, and he almost smacks her with that beam. And
Like
then,
he immediately like calms down as soon as he sees her. He's like, oh.
yeah,
He's like, oh. Like, he does a mistake. And he's like, brutes like you can't become pilots. And he's like, oh. And he like drops it. He's all like disappointed in himself and whatnot.
so yeah, after she gets done yelling at him and stuff, it cuts to later on at night. Well, before it cuts away, it does, or no, that was earlier on. It at one point, somewhere around here, it shows the back of his neck kind of like pulsing,
Yeah.
and which is kind of like precursor to the transformation stuff.
Yeah.
So it cuts to him struggling to sleep. Yeah, so it was this point where you first get to see the like kind of the precursor to the the mutation.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm trouble sleeping because like it's just what she said to him, and he's like, damn it, she's right.
Yeah. So he goes out and he's kind of walking around just to get some cool air and stuff, and he finds her standing near some lotus blossom trees.
Yeah, there's like a little pond around there as well, like a little bench.
Yeah, and so she's reciting a poem that his mom used to recite when he was a kid. So they get to talking, and he basically finally proposes to her, which gets everybody.
And all of the mechanics are just like, yeah, way to go, buddy! Like they're like cheering him on. They're like, God, finally! And he's like, what the? Like he like gets all embarrassed, like his face like grows all red, and he's like, God.
So it goes from this to showing them talking to Go and Anna and Shinobu, and so they're all excited about them getting engaged and stuff, and then they get called out to a mission.
Yeah.
And it cuts to.
Yeah, we see him pulsing again. So you're
Yeah.
immediately just like, oh no.
So then it cuts to the team, and the commander and Anna's mom finally tells the team about the insomnia virus.
Yeah.
And how it infects male pilots, and which is what causes them to mutate. And they say that the reason why they were able to figure it out was because of what happened to Shadow. So even though Shadow is a woman, her mindset is more male dominated.
Yeah, which is kind of like why we forgot to mention about why she like had a kind of like dream or nightmare where she was kind of like grabbing at Luna.
Yeah, I did.
Her like in a very kind of like sexual like aggressive manner.
Yeah.
And
basically
like,
dreamt about raping her.
Yeah, literally going like that. Luna.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say like raping her because Luna didn't really like have that much qualms against it.
Well, I mean, she
was freaking out a bit, but like she kind of like gave in like the last second. So this is like, huh? I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah, but like no, she has that nightmare sequence in one of the episodes that we forgot to mention. But yeah, no, that goes along with like what they're saying in this part of the episode, where like they're saying like her more male dominant like kind of like brain was affected by the virus, and that kind of like goes there like with everybody else who's been affected by it. It kind of like attacks or kind of like is fed by like their like natural instincts, whether that be like sexual awakening or like just a need for violence or like aggression.
Yeah. So
which was
adrenaline.
Adrenaline, as they say.
Yeah.
And we basically see that with Lukaku in this episode.
So as they're kind of talking about that, it does cut to Godannar. So they the English team showed up to help them with battling the mimetic beast because they're approaching some kind of like a chemical plant that, if the plant gets destroyed, would kill like 30,000 people nearby.
Oh yeah, no, like it's bad.
Yeah. So for the most part, the English team is trying to like take them out from the air because it's a lot of like flying beasts. And Shiaku's mech part is also a flying one, so she was like flying around trying to help. They finally decided to merge together and start doing like jump attacks and stuff, which was a pretty cool sequence because like he throws down one of the tubes that he has, jumps off of it to do this axe attack. So they've managed to they managed to finish off all the beasts. Unfortunately, he starts transforming.
Yeah, like the battle just kind of like makes it worse, the mutation worse and like more active.
So, so the Godannar team, all three pilots launch. They've got some time before they're going to be able to get there, but they're already aware of what the situation is. So they launch to try and help stop Lukaku. Shiaku's freaking out. So it comes down to the English team saying like they got to use their final attack to put a stop to it because he's actually damaging the plant more than the beast did.
Yeah, and like if he keeps going, like the 30,000 people they talked about will literally die. So it's just like a matter of like one life versus like 30,000.
Yeah, and he actually Knight, the Englishman, before they split their mech up, he comments like, the life of two friends over the life of 30,000 strangers.
Yeah, it's a difficult decision, really. They're not making light of it at all because it's like I don't want to kill them like at all. I don't want to. Yeah. But if it comes down to like their lives or the 30,000 people that are going to be caught in the explosion, if it goes off, like I kind of have to make that call. Like I don't like it, but I have to because like I can't just like let that many people die.
Yeah. So the girl, the English woman, her name is Alice. So she's trying to distract Lukaku while Knight gets into position, which his mech turns into kind of like a bird itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so Danner team is still trying to get there. Lukaku finally grabs a hold of Alice's mech, starts pulling its arms off. So everybody's freaking out. He turns around, like Shiaku attempts to like shoot him from behind, but she can't bring herself to do it. So he turns around and tells her to recite the poem, which is what they talked about before. Like, when I finally die, I need all I need is for you to recite the poem over me.
Yep. And like at the same time, all this is happening. You're like, no, don't do it, because like literally go, Mira and Anna are like
Almost there.
5 minutes out of there. You're like, oh come on, hurry up, damn it, hurry up! But they're like trying to get there as fast as they can. And like it keeps coming back to this fight and them.
Yeah.
And then you get to that scene where he's like, recite the poem to me, and you know what that means.
So he knows that there's no way to come back from it. And
Yeah.
So he hits the eject button to pop Chiaku out.
Yep.
So she gets ejected out of the mech, and then Godannar finally rips the arms off of Alice's mech, which pisses off Knight because he thinks that she's dead. So
That's like the shot.
Yeah, so he unleashes his final attack, which is kind of like Guyver's Mega Buster. Literally, it looks the same.
Yeah, like, no, it kind of did. I was like, oh my god, Guyver.
Yeah. So he blasts the Godannar, which causes it to explode. Godannar team arrives just as this is happening, and they put up force fields to prevent the blast from damaging the base and damaging them. And they also use the flyboys to help protect the plant from being destroyed. So, and then it cuts to Chiaku essentially reciting the poem, and we get this scene, and yeah, that's where the episode ends. So now,
boo!
Now we're down 2 teams. At this point, we've lost 2 teams.
Yeah, we're like down like a lot.
Yeah. So the American team is gone.
The Chinese team has like lost 1 pilot,
but they lost their entire mech.
That too, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it
sucks.
Definitely, yeah, sucks. And
to put it lightly, it sucks. But yeah, no, that like ending kind of like it didn't make me cry, but I was just like,
yeah,
my heart, I hate you.
Yeah, it was definitely rough.
This is like, oh, you've been enjoying this? Cool. We're gonna tear your heart out in this episode. Why though? Because screw you. That's why. Because you don't deserve happiness. Now watch this couple who's about to endure a happy life crumble before your very eyes. Like, oh, wonderful. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So another really good episode.
Yeah, that is like probably like one of the best episodes, honestly, of the series.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, like so far, exactly. But yeah, no, that was really well done episode. So now it just makes me wonder, like, when, like, the next 5 or next 6, I'm just gonna be like, what now? What do we do? Where do we go from here? Not to mention that there's also the threat of like going through this exact same transformation. So it's just like, what now? What do we do?
So we got to worry about Go, all the male pilots, Go, Knight. So far, Cucaracha, for the most part, doesn't seem like he really runs that gambit, except when Katarina told him to go off on his own.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's pretty much always just like flat.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. And plus, like too, he's like said, like I think he said it when like him and Luna had a conversation at like the hot spring. He was like, when he saw her like nude, he was like, nah, don't worry about it. I'm not after like other women. Like Katarina is literally the only woman I like. Everybody else I don't.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, hey, listen, the man has priorities. The man has a one-track mind. Can't argue with him there.
And then of course we got Ken. So that it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out, because you still got the manhunt for Ken and Lou, and then you got this virus that's affecting the male pilots, and yeah. 6 more episodes to go.
We got a lot going on, people. We got a lot going on.
So yeah, any other final thoughts before we wrap it up for the day?
No, not really. Just I enjoyed these episodes very much, despite how tragic they were. But I
Yeah,
enjoyed them.
yeah, um, yeah, very good episodes. Definitely intrigued by where the story's going, and I know I've seen the series before, but it's been so long. It's like watching it new all over again. Uh, so yeah, we'll wrap it up here. If you're still watching this video and at this point, we appreciate you checking us out. Uh, please hit the like and share button, or like and subscribe. Share it as well. Do appreciate that. And yeah, we'll see you next week when we talk about episodes 21 through 26.
Our last episodes of Godannar.
And then we will be.
Well, actually, wait. Yeah, we'll save that for next week. We'll make that. We'll make an announcement for our next show at the
Yep.
end of our discussion for the last 6 episodes. Want to save it up for you guys. Want to make it a surprise for y'all.
Yeah,
It's a newer series.
Going to be another good series.
Yes,
looking forward
I
to
think
it.
it's a good series.
Yeah.
So
I read the first volume of the manga, and I see why it's so good. So
yep, I told you. But trust me, I think you're gonna be pretty happy with how the anime adapts that manga as well.
yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that. So
oh yeah, you're gonna have fun. You're gonna like it.
So again, thanks everybody for watching, and make sure you join us next week as we finish up the Godannar series. And until next time, take care.
Farewell.